Hello, class of 2021. Today is your day, your graduation, the culmination of all your hard work. We come together virtually, which is a little disappointing, but with joy and in celebration of all that you have given and achieved. We join you in the desire to pause and reflect on the time we have spent together, including the time we have spent together at a physical distance from each other over the past year. Every graduating class is cherished, but today you take a special place in King's history alongside the class of 2020. Each of you have sacrificed for the health and safety of our immediate and our wider community and all those you love. You have done a noble thing by changing how you live and learn in order to protect and support others. You have achieved the academic credentials of your degree while overcoming tremendous hurdles, showing resilience and true spirit, accomplishing all that was needed while also tending to the friendship that defines Kings. On behalf of the college, the faculty, staff, our board, and the 12,000 plus members of the Alumni Association, Canada's oldest, which you are about to join, I tell you with conviction that we admire you, we care for you, and we are very proud of you. We will remember this year for what was overcome, endured, and achieved. But I will always remember the times we were together. I'm thinking of your extraordinary plays in the pit, your magnificent concerts, and the rehearsing I have enjoyed through my dining room walls. I remember our meals together in Prince Hall, formal and informal, and your visits to the lodge for lunches, dinners, tutorials, receptions, lectures, opera, poetry, and my favorite, pizza parties. And of course, for your visits with Casey. I loved cheering at your games, hiking and skating with you, and just chatting with you in the quad. I loved joining in the dancing as best I could at the annual Wardroom Hip fundraising party to the eclectic playlist of Laura Penny and Eli Diamond. In recent days, I have been thinking about you and all our graduating classes as I record the annual blooming of the magnolia in the quad on Twitter and Instagram, trying to share some of the beauty they have given to so many King's graduations. Among your first days at King's, we celebrated your matriculation. And like all King's students since 1789, by oath and signature, you became members of what we call this Collegii Regalis, not only for your time at King's, but for your life. Between that day and this one, you have been living and learning and growing together in community, supported by King's staff, each other, and your brilliant faculty. And you're going to hear a few words from your faculty next on this video. And among the voices you will hear are those of Professors Kim Cairns and Elizabeth Edwards. Both are concluding their long and brilliant careers as teachers and their years of service to the college and to their students. And so like you, this is a day and time of transition for them as well. I will join you again at the end of this presentation, but first, a few words from other members of your community.
For me, and I hope for the students graduating, the journey of King's is a journey of exploring, both exploring worlds that we don't know and exploring the inner world that we do know of ourselves. And I hope for all of the students as they are graduating at this moment, that that sense of exploration and discovery and self-discovery has been at the heart of their experience of Kings. For those of you who've done the foundation year program, I want to connect this thought to that reading of the Odyssey with which we began the program, that sense that as we are engaged in going out into the world, we're always bringing a sense of our home, our beginning with us. And as T.S. Eliot puts it, coming to know that beginning for the first time. My hope is that for all of the students graduating from King's, that you're going to have that sense of homecoming, that sense of while you're always journeying, you're always at the same time connected to what roots and grounds you. That's part of not only your experience now, but something that will be with you, and that you'll be carrying Kings as part of that sense of home into your lives, into the future.
Our students and our faculty are a special lot. They've come here because they're interested in books, reading them, encountering them, writing them. We are in a project to examine the way culture and nature and thought interact. This is King's journey. If there's any journey about King's, it is that journey to follow these texts and these knowledges around as they move in the world and constitute what it is to be modern. As often as you can when you're in town, drop into King's. We'd love to see you again. We have a cup of tea in my office. But other than that, keep in touch and let us know how the world is opening up for you.
Once again, here we are meeting at a distance, and I can almost see you. You know, this journey has been a real transformative one for many of you. And I'd like to share a secret because many of your professors have been transformed by you and our interactions with you, and even the college. So thank you. A special shout out to the grads in the School of Journalism, the Bachelor of Journalism honors, the one-year Bachelor of Journalism, the Master of Journalism, and the MFA students. This year really showed us the importance of accurate information and that journalism matters now more than ever. This year also revealed our creativity and our ability to do research, interviews, write and tell stories, even from our bedrooms. It also taught all of us, regardless of our discipline, resilience. We are a resilient lot, we King's folk. And we are also a supportive lot. We have been kind and supportive to one another. And that is a marvelous thing. You found out you could pivot, and you'll continue to do that on your journey. Good luck to all the graduates. Please don't forget us because we will never forget you.
There's no doubt that this has been a challenging year for all of us, but I'm so proud of how our students have rallied together to look out for each other. Some of the examples that come to mind are, the Day Student Society, how they got together a crew of people to volunteer and drop off treats and essential items to folks in self-isolation. We also had an incredibly active student societies like the King's Literary Society, who made the best of an online environment by hosting some really cool live poetry nights. And of course, I have to acknowledge the work of the King's Student Union, especially the outgoing president, Levi Clarkson, who is graduating this year. They did an extraordinary job to make sure that we always had students front and center for all of us on campus. So I think it's definitely worth celebrating the many successes of students looking out for one another.
I know for most of you who have spent a lot of time learning online and spending a lot of time in your homes, actually, I'm sure it was great to have the gym as a second home and be able to participate. I just remember the first time I saw all their smiling faces, and I think Trish probably had a first moment like this as well. So Trish, I'm sure you can tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, the gym is such a happy social place, and it seemed so quiet and lonely when you guys weren't around. So when we opened up our doors and allowed those appointments again, it was just wonderful to have you all back in there and to see you guys talking to each other and hanging out and working out and, you know, getting those kinks out from doing your schoolwork at home and not being able to see people. It was so nice to have the gym filled with laughter and voices again from a distance.
My heartfelt congratulations to King's graduating class of 2021, and very special congratulations to this year's Contemporary Studies graduates, with whom I've had the pleasure to work closely. You came to King's to get a degree, and you have realized this goal today. But you have also shown us this year especially that university education is about so much more than getting a parchment. You have shown us that you care, not only about acquiring knowledge, but also that you care about others, that you care about social justice, that you care about the state of the world. In your CSP classes, you studied a lot of philosophy, but you have also shown that learning is about so much more than the literal meaning of philosophia, the love of wisdom. It is also about being passionate about what you do. So hold on to that passion, hold on to that love of the world.
Well, it is the task of people who speak in insignias to deliver wisdom lore and advice. But of course, particularly for those in contemporary studies, this simply makes your hackles rise. What will I come up with? Here's Samuel Beckett from The Unnameable. You must go on. I can't go on. I'll go on. Well, is that the message I want to send you out the door with? Let's turn to Nietzsche. And as you, if you're familiar at all to Nietzsche, you will know that this advice is in a form of anti-advice. He writes, "No man can construct for you the bridge upon which precisely you must cross the stream of life. No one but you yourself alone. I hope at least that we have given you some of the great materials you'll need for your bridge, the girders, I-beams, and suspension cables that will enable you to get to the other shore."
Today you graduate, and now you're finally free. Now you're free. It's been a pretty long way, quite the way. And this day you'll get your degree. You had a difficult time, very difficult time. I think you probably agree. You must agree. And as you're reaching your prime, reach your prime. The day
So I think one of the things that comes to mind when I think about the journey of Kings is that journey from the very beginning of learning and the beginning of ideas and planting the seeds of those ideas, and then over the course of your time at King's, exploring those ideas, exploring those concepts, doing that research. It's a journey that has moments of solitary work. There's work that we do together. There's conversation. And it's a journey that I think enriches us all as mentors and faculty. We're not pouring knowledge into students' heads. We're engaged in a journey together, in a conversation together, where we're building each other's knowledge, building each other's insights, and coming out at the end of that journey. And it's a journey that actually continues beyond our time at King's, but coming out of that journey, all of us, enriched through those conversations and that work.
That idea of journey, it's sort of a metaphor of intellectual experience for me, and I think for many students at King's who've done the foundation year in particular. The texts encountered first in the foundation year program are about individuals who make significant locational journeys, but those journeys in space and time also have a significant intellectual and psychic, spiritual component. And I always like to reflect on that kind of journeying as what you, in fact, carry with you out of King's. Everybody comes to King's from somewhere, so that's a kind of a journey in itself, and eventually everybody leaves it as well. But all of those intellectual journeys, Odysseus, Gilgamesh, Aeneas, Augustine, they all have in common, I think, the fact that the destination is either unknown, unclearly known, or indeed never reached, but they always have as a reference point the beginning, and their understanding of the beginning is always revised, and with that revision they come to understand themselves and their place in that journey better.
The journey of King's is tied with the journey of journalism these days. And certainly for our four-year BJHs, they entered King's at a time when the journalism field was quite a bit different than it is now. And we talk about journalism being a big tent, and I think that tent has gotten bigger. And one of the joys is seeing our graduates over the past couple of years go to some workplaces, media outlets that in some cases didn't exist a couple of years ago, and we may have considered them, different kinds of journalism. So it's been fascinating to see our students and our graduates adapt to the way the media landscape has changed.
We've been in a journey together for the past 4 or more years. And you've arrived at the point where you've traveled into the past to understand the present. You've matured as scholars and as human beings. And this has fitted you for anything you wish to undertake in your future endeavors. Many of you will continue on to your explorations of the past, and many of you will also be working on trying to understand the present and working to build a better future. And I do hope that you are able to contribute to that future project. I'm fairly confident that you are ready to do so.
Congratulations on graduating. I'm sure this isn't how you pictured this day when you started at King's, but it's still a big deal and you should still celebrate this achievement. I also know when I graduated, there were a lot of tears on this day. And I just want to put your mind at ease to let you know that although it may seem sad today, this is not the end of your experience at King's. King's is always going to be with you, and we will always stay connected. This is just the beginning and your chance to show the world what you can do based on everything you learned at King's and who you became during your time there. My very best.
Class of 2021, look at everything you've gone through. Look at everything you've overcome.
Remember how you have managed not only to survive, but to thrive this year.
You are tough, you are determined, you are as smart can be.
You are on your road now, commencing, and to quote Lou Reed, it is the beginning of a great adventure.
To the class of 2021, congratulations.
Congratulations to everyone. And remember, once a Blue Devil, always
A Blue Devil.
All the best to you in the future.
Hello again. Even with the limitations of video, I hope you can feel a small part of the tremendous love we have for you. And speaking of love, let's take a moment to congratulate your parents, your grandparents, partners, siblings, children, guardians, mentors, friends, and anyone else who for you has formed part of your support team. That support is in what you have accomplished. Your achievements are their achievements. On behalf of the college, I extend to them our gratitude. Let's also take a moment to think of those who have suffered more, who are suffering more than we have suffered this year, and all those who we have supported this year by our contributions to a great and important cause, our community's response to the global pandemic. Many are saying that your generation will be marked by this pandemic, and often the emphasis is on what has been lost, and I'm sure you feel that acutely. I am confident, however, that the way in which you have completed your King's education will be positively reflected in what you will contribute individually and collectively to improving the world and the lives of others. My prediction is that your generation will add what you have learned from this pandemic to your pre-existing commitments to justice, equality, and sustainability to make the world a better place. Before this pandemic, you knew what many in my generation had forgotten, that the well-being of each of us depends on a global scale on the actions and well-being of all of us, that injustice anywhere threatens justice everywhere. More than ever, the world we have made is telling us the fate of all of us depends on the willingness of each of us to put the well-being of others, of all species, and our common interests above our own interests. I think all of this and your conscience as a generation will inspire you to be a generation of healing change and of reform, remediation, reconciliation, reparations, and restoration in our relationships with each other and with our earth. As you continue on your journey, listen to your soul as well as your head. Try to let the future take care of itself as much as possible. Pursue what you are good at, but also pursue what you love and the difference that you think you can make. Which brings me back to the promise you made on your matriculation day to follow the best traditions of kings in order to serve the precepts of communal life and learning, and to care for the honor and welfare of this college for the rest of your life. At King's, you have defined the precepts of communal life and learning to mean not only living with others, but for others. You have added to our traditions, but you've also challenged some of them. And this is as it should be. Change in institutions and people is perhaps the most crucial tradition of them all. And we are thankful for what you have given to King's and to everyone at King's. We look forward to your contributions to other communities and to the world, building on what you have learned and given here, and by continuing to follow those precepts of communal life and learning. And we look forward to your further contributions to King's, which, as I told you when you matriculated, would always be your college. The quad is your quad forever. Stay in touch and come back anytime and often. And I especially look forward to celebrating your Encenia Day just as soon as Dr. Strang tells us we can safely hold it. Until then, enjoy the rest of this virtual celebration and the in-person but safe celebrations I am sure you are having in parallel to it. Thank you and congratulations.